Hey guys, it's Jamaica Service, and in this video, I want to share to all of you about perpetuation of life and interdependence. Have you guys already heard the word perpetuation or interdependence? Well, I know most of you guys are not familiar or haven't yet heard the word perpetuation. So don't worry, I'm here to help you understand and to know more about it. When we say perpetuation of life, where did the perpetuation came from? Perpetuation of life comes from the word perpetuate, which means something to continue. Perpetuation is to make perpetual or cause to last and definitely perpetuate the species. It is about how we take care of plants, animals, that we should continue to take care of them in order for them to grow, bloom, reproduce, and to live. So it says that perpetuation is about continuity or existence of living things and organisms. And the very important inside perpetuation of life is reproduction. So what is the role of reproduction and perpetuation? Reproduction ensures the continuity of the species and keeps it from becoming extinct. It plays a role in evolution as it creates variation via genetic recombinations. It helps to increase the number of species in the ecosystem. What is reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process by which an organism reproduces an offspring that is biologically similar to organism. Reproduction enables and ensures the continuity of species, generation after generation. It is the main feature of life on Earth. There are two types of reproduction: asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction generates offspring that are genetically identical to a single parent, while sexual reproduction, two parents contribute genetic information to produce unique offspring. Sexual and asexual reproduction have advantages and disadvantages, which is why some organisms do both. How plants reproduce. In plants, there are two modes of reproduction: asexual and sexual. There are several methods of asexual reproduction, such as fragmentation, budding, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. What are the plants that reproduce asexually? Garlic, onions, tulip plants, potato, ginger, and strawberry are examples of plants that reproduce asexually. Sexual reproduction produces offspring by the fusion of gametes resulting in offspring genetically different from parents. Example of plants that reproduce sexually, including white mulberry, birch, pine, coconut flowers, and papaya. Those are the example of plants that reproduce sexually. A morphological continuity exists among flowers, fruits, and seeds. After all, it is the ovary of the flower that develops fruits which in turn the seeds. How plants reproduce. In plants, there are also sexual and asexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction in animals, a haploid sperm unites with a haploid cell to form a diploid zygote, while asexual reproduction occurs through fission, budding, fragmentation, and parthenogenesis. Animals that reproduce asexually include planarians, annelid worms, including turbellarians and sea stars. Animals that reproduce sexually, such as fish, frogs, cats, and dogs. Genetic engineering, also called genetic modification, is a process that uses laboratory-based technologies to alter the DNA makeup of organisms. What is genetic engineering used for? Genetic engineering may involve adding a gene from a species to an organism from a different species to produce a desired trait. Genetic engineering has been applied to the production of cancer therapies, genetically modified plants and livestock, and more. Genetic engineering is accomplished in three basic steps. Number 1. The isolation of DNA fragments from a donor organism. Number 2. The insertion of an isolation donor DNA fragment into a vector genome. Number 3. The growth of a recombinant vector in an apparent host. Examples of genetic engineering: pesticide, plants that fight pollution; golden rice, bigger, longer, long-lasting tomatoes; insecticide, corn; non-crying onions; carrots that help prevent osteoporosis. GMO, or genetically modified organism, is genetically refers to a genus. Genes are made up of DNA, which is a set of instructions calls for how cells grow and develop. What is the purpose of GMO? Generally include resistance to certain past disease or environmental condition, or resistant to a chemical treatments. The advantages of GMO: they may contain more nutrients and grown with fewer pesticides, and are usually cheaper than their non-GMO counterparts. Disadvantages of GMO: they may cause allergic reactions because of their altered DNA and may increase antibiotic resistance. The risk of GMO: toxicity, allergic reactions, antibiotic resistance, immunosuppression, cancer, loss of nutrition. Benefits of GMO: more nutritious food, tastier food, disease and drought resistance, plants that require fewer environmental resources, such as water and fertilizer, less of pesticides, increased supply of foods with reduced cost and longer shelf life, and faster growing plants and animals. Examples of GMO: cornstarch can be made with GMO corn and sugar, can be made with GMO sugar beets. Corn is the most commonly grown crop in the United States, and most of it is GMO. Alfalfa, papaya, soy, canola, cotton, potato, sugar beet, yellow summer squash, and zucchini. Did GMO exist? Yes. To produce a GMO plant, scientists first identify what trait they want to plant to have, such as resistance to drought, herbicides, or insects. Then they find an organism that already has a trait with its genes. That's all, guys. I hope you learned something on my video. Thanks for listening.